Well, hey, everybody. It's me, your old pal, Mistopher Christopher Hughes, here with the delightful, the charming, the talented Miss Crystal Crawford, fellow North American living abroad. And I'm going
Yes.
to add, we're adding here Miss Vivi as well from Brazil.
Awesome.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm so excited, but I don't know where we are doing.
We're doing a live. We're here live from multiple platforms, the Right Voice for You page. Some people are joining from the Creation of Wealth page. Some people are joining from my personal page, my business page, multiple pages on the Facebook world, or Meta, I guess it's called now.
Super.
Talking about the How to Become Money workbook.
Christopher, I want to know, what was your first exposure? I have so many questions. What was your first exposure to the workbook? What changed the most for you when you first got a hold of it? Like, how did you use it? Tell me about the first time-ish.
Well, it's one of those books that I had on my shelf for a long time before I actually used it.
Yeah, me too.
And to be honest, my first time using it and reading it was facilitating it early this year.
Stop it. Okay, then I have another question. What were you already being that you discovered you were being by going through the workbook that has generated money in your world? What's that conversation?
I discovered that I like money. And there's a lot of people out there who don't. And you need to ask yourself, do you like money?
Yeah.
Are you being kind to it? Are you nurturing it? Are you treating it like a lover? Or are you disdaining it, dismissing it, and avoiding its calls?
What is being kind to and loving money look like in your world? What are some of the ways that shows up for you?
Well, right now in the world, there's a whole lot of people who are really into plants, right?
Yeah.
Like there's this whole phenomenon on social media of being a plant mom or a plant dad, and people have spent time indoors and they're looking after plants. And to me, money and business are similar. It's a thing in your life. It's an energy, a presence that you need to, need. It's not about needing to, but if you will, be present with it, connect to it, check in with it, know what's going on for it, it can grow and thrive and flourish into being something greater.
Did you always have a lot of ease with money, or is that something you cultivated and chose and created for yourself?
Complicated question.
I like,
Well, I don't know about you two, but I've always been really good at creating money.
Yes.
And even when situations looked a bit dicey and it looked like I was going to get in trouble, I could always pull it out.
Yes.
And I could always create it in the last minute when I needed it. But if you looked at the bank balance, there wasn't a whole lot going on there.
So you had to teach yourself to have money. Is that true?
Totally had to trick myself into having money.
What was your first trick? Like, what'd you do? Tell me everything.
Well, I was being the gypsy of consciousness that travels the world and doesn't commit to being anywhere, and was just moving from North America to Texas. Like I was in Canada, and then I was in Texas, and then I was in Asia, and then I was in Australia, and then I was back in Asia, and moving around. And the first time that I really committed to having money was buying something that I cared enough about and was valuable enough that I wouldn't just jettison it, chuck it, get rid of it. Didn't matter. Like, it was funny because it was just some small pieces of silver. And silver is an interesting thing. I'm an antique dealer as part of my world. And silver is something that isn't that fashionable with the younger generations of today. But still, we look at silver and it represents money.
Yeah.
Like once upon a time, the coins we used were actually silver. So if you had a tea set or a fork or a tray that was made of silver, it was literally made of money.
Yeah.
And when I bought those things, I realized, I can't just spend this on a bill. Like I can, but the effort of taking it and trading it and getting some money for it to pay it too hard, I'll just make the money and pay the bill.
Yes. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Mm.
Interesting. Well, see, I have a very different story in that I actually actively use the How to Become Money workbook to transform my money reality. I was very similar to you in that I could create a lot of money and then it would just go. Less than zero in my bank account was my normal when I would start to create again. And when I realized that I was in that pattern, and I mean, I'd been in that pattern my whole life, but it took like 4 years of access to actually be able to see that I was still doing it. I realized that I was actually functioning from a place that if I didn't change where I was functioning from would just continue. And so I actually actively for like 8 weeks straight went through that How to Become Money workbook every single week, and just like everything changed for me after that. And I think I've done it like 32 times now. So when I saw you were doing it, I'm like, oh my God, we have to do this with you. Because I know how potent you are with money. And I just thought it would be really cool to get that through you.
Awesome. Thank you. When we did this book, and here's the book, ladies and gentlemen. When we did this workbook earlier this year, Paul and I did it, everybody's life changed.
Yeah.
Part of that class, like their financial situation. There was one lady from India who came on, and at the beginning of the series, because we do it over 10 sessions, she had like crazy credit card debt. And by 4th, 5th, 6th, I don't know, it was a bit later on into the series, she showed us the receipt and her credit card balance was 0.
Holy, cool.
And we were like, awesome. And things showed up for me personally and in unusual ways. Like, you know, people hear about the tools of access consciousness and the whole idea of ask and you shall receive. And what you're asking for creates what the universe delivers in your life. And I've seen people try and prove access consciousness isn't real or isn't correct in what it's saying by going, well, if this works, then there'll be $2 million in my bank account on Sunday.
Yeah.
And what I've discovered is the currency flows, the money showing up in your life takes the most random forms that you wouldn't necessarily expect. Like I had things like my tax debt reduced significantly during that month of doing this call, and not from anything linearly that I did, just change in point of view and an energy that I was being.
And it's if you don't pay attention, you almost don't notice it because there's so much space to the change, and it just changes. Like I've recognized that recently where I asked for some things and they totally showed up, and I had to look back and go, wait a minute, I asked for that. Like it's with so much ease. So it's so cool.
Yep. And that's so powerful. Acknowledging that you are the creator source and the creative energy that puts everything in your life in place is so empowering to know that that's true and see it in action.
So is there anything that, having facilitated this once, is there anything that kind of sticks out for you in regards to what people could be invited to from the this class, the workbook? Like, what is it? What's the invitation from your point of view?
The invitation is, look, like I sent out an email that you responded to, and I said, hey guys, I became a millionaire using the tools of access consciousness. And money shows up in my life all the time in the most fantastical of ways. And I am the one who's chosen and created that. And also, it's so much due to the tools of access consciousness. And this book is gold. Even if you don't join us for this class, your investment in this book of $30, $40, $50, I don't even remember how much it is not even 0.001% of what it can create for you.
No, I literally took that it's $35 and I went through it for 8 weeks in a row, and I transformed my financial reality forever. Like it's never been the same since. And that's, I think, what people don't necessarily get is like, you really can take that book and change the future forever. So,
but
yes.
There is a but.
Okay, I'm ready.
You can only change your financial reality if you're willing to actually be honest with yourself about what you're choosing and what your points of view are.
That is so true. So as I was going through it over that 8 weeks, the thing that I had to be so much more diligent with myself than I've had to be probably since. Because what I started to recognize is I would wake up in the morning and my first thoughts were of what wasn't in my bank account, what I didn't have, what I was stressed about. First thing in the morning, my mind would literally go over my bank accounts and like do the math. And then for the rest of the day, I was creating from that energy. And I didn't even know it until I started going through the workbook and I started to, you just get washed in that energy and in the conversations Raz is having. And so I had to, number one, start paying attention to that and really go, I am money, I am power, I am awareness, I am control, I use the tools in there really actively. And the second thing that really showed up was that I had a lot of stories around why I couldn't, but I didn't know I was doing those. So I was starting to hear myself go, well, I would, but, or I can, or I could, but, or this because. So out of that period of time came, I'm choosing this because I'm choosing this because I'm choosing this, and that's it. And I made myself stay really uncomfortable in those moments instead of go into story. And that was actually probably what shifted it the most, because I'm like, I guess I could just choose something else. But you just don't know how unconscious you're running your financial, you don't know until you know. It's my deep thought for the day.
Mm.
So yeah.
So, and the thing too is, it's not like a 12-step program where first you claim and own that you have a money problem and then you start putting new systems in place. It's not linear. It's like, get honest with where you are and what you're creating. And it starts to change just by acknowledging it.
Yeah.
Be willing to acknowledge what your points of view are, what your judgments are of you with money. Let them go. And new doors and windows open up to different possibilities. It's not about learning a system or structure of how to be with money. It's just literally letting go of the points of view that are creating the limitations in your life so that a totally new space can open up.
Amen.
Take us to church. I love it. There's a lady in the chat that says she's getting this book for Christmas. How cool is that? Awesome, Lisa.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm just personally so excited you guys are doing this. I saw the email and I messaged Wes right away. I'm like, do they need anybody to? I'm in. So thank you.
You are so welcome. So we kick off on in just a couple days. I think it's in 2 days. And it's 10 sessions with myself and the wonderful, the talented, the beautiful Miss Paula Peralta, who we did the last session with. There's some people who did the last session coming back for more because it was really quite cool. 10 sessions, about an hour each session, and we'll get most of it done throughout the month of November. So what if November you could transform your financial reality so that December and the years ahead have a totally new possibility available?
Totally. Yeah. Thank you so much for being you. I'm so excited and I can't wait to see all of you that are joining us.
Thank you for your willingness to contribute and be a part of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, all right. That's it. We'll see you guys on the call.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao, guys.